Hi, I'm John. In 2015, I retired after 20 years with the Grand Rapids, Michigan Police Department. In 2016, I created a training program based off of my experiences in the Army and as a police officer, specifically designed to help someone develop stress inoculation, muscle memory, self-confidence, and confidence in other coworkers and teammates. In my training program, you're going to get real-time feedback from instructor role players, most of whom are current or retired law enforcement officers. For example, during the critique phase, they may say, John, you did a really great job in this scenario. You did a great job with your tone of voice and a reactionary gap, but did you know you have a tendency to smirk? My instructors and I always want to validate and affirm what people are doing correctly because we want them to keep doing it. And then we go over the things that were done and said that could be tweaked and done differently next time. You cannot get all that real-time expert feedback from just sitting through a lecture presentation or watching an online training video. You could keep going through life, getting into situations that go sideways and never realize that you're the problem because of something that you're saying or doing. There's some really good information out there on verbal de-escalation. But folks, I'm telling you that based on my 20 years experience of dealing with some really volatile situations with some really irate people, some of whom were trying to hurt me, that it really boils down to three basic concepts: your appearance, your communication, and your engagement in the moment. I came up with an acronym, ACE, A-C-E. A stands for appearance, your body language, your facial expression, your body posture. For example, standing there with your arms crossed while you're talking to your friends, family, and neighbors, very comfortable posture to assume. However, depending on the situation you're in, you're going to come across standoffish, indifferent, unfeeling, maybe even hostile. C for communication. The tone of voice, the words you use. Have you ever had anyone say, I'm sorry to you, but you knew they weren't sorry because of their tone of voice? I'm sorry. And there are a lot of words out there that are known as triggers, trigger phrases, trigger words that are known to create an emotional spike in someone. For example, telling someone to calm down. Men, how many times has it worked when you asked your wife to calm down? What do you normally get? I am calm! E for engagement. Are you really engaged in the moment? Are you using active reflective listening? Studies have shown that in an interpersonal conflict situation, one or both parties will tune the other person out and actually just listen for an opening to keep talking. I had an incident here a few years ago. A man showed up down at the end of the counter right there, and he totally ignored my cheerful greeting. And he stared over my shoulder and he walked right past me with a very purposeful stride. He came around this corner and I could hear him angrily knocking on one of the office doors. Now I knew from my experience that how I made contact with him would set the tone for how the contact evolved. Now what if I'd come around the corner with my hands on my hips? Or what if I'd come around the corner with my arms crossed? As it was, I assumed a non-aggressive, non-hostile looking body posture, and I greeted him again. I asked him if there was anything I could do to help, and this is where active reflective listening comes in. He explained that there was a misunderstanding between the church ministry and his adult special needs son. And once I heard him say that, I said, sir, I can identify and I recognize and feel your frustration because I have a special needs daughter too. And once he heard that, once I made that connection with him, he began to deflate. That incident showed how I was able to use my ACE to successfully de-escalate a potentially volatile situation. And folks, you can too. It's going to require some self-awareness, self-discipline, and some training. And I'm telling you from my experience, if you are aware of your ACE, your appearance, communication, and you're engaged in the moment, you are more likely than not to successfully de-escalate a situation. And from my experience, this works with everybody, young, old, male, female, crazy, stoned, whatever. And does it work all the time? No, of course not. But I'm telling you that based on my 20 years experience and from observing other officers who were also aware of their ACE, we were more likely than not able to de-escalate some very volatile situations. Folks, you can always fire an employee who mismanages a situation, but you're going to end up being the one who's left behind to rebuild your brand name, your reputation, and maybe handle some lawsuits. So how about giving your personnel and staff the conflict de-escalation training that they deserve and need? Folks, do you really want to risk telling a judge and jury that the extent of the verbal de-escalation training you provided to your staff and personnel was just a lecture or an online training video where they got to print out their own certificate? Your call.